Ladies and gentlemen, RosterWatch Nation, welcome back to the epic RosterWatch Podcast, brought to you by RosterWatch.com. My name is Alex Dunlap, joined, of course, by the miserable and disgusting Trashman, as we're going to be breaking down Week 9 on the Fantasy Football Waiver Wire. Kind of not the biggest week, Trashman, but certainly, gosh,
I feel like it's a bigger week than some.
Yeah, well, for sure. And we got buys. We have important players on bye. You know, we have Dallas. Is Dallas on bye? I think Detroit, Jacksonville. You know, it's like there's some key players. I'll just pull it up to make sure. I just got done doing the matchup tool, and I think those are there's one other. Let's see here. So it's
the Lions.
Yeah, I said Detroit. So not Dallas. So it was the two D teams: Denver, Detroit, Jacksonville, and the 49ers. So, I mean, a lot of fantasy viable players on those teams, and people are going to need fill-ins this week. I know I certainly do in a couple of leagues, so it could get gross with what we need to do. What's up to everybody here on YouTube? The Hunsburglar, good to see you, my friend. If you guys have questions about any trades or who you can drop and stuff this week, I'll add the drops to my list, and I'll ask Trashman at the end of the show. We'll try and breeze through it and then get to those. But any kinds of trades and stuff, we don't have any sit-start answers yet because I haven't even sent out the ranking sheet yet to Trashman and Cody. So I'll be getting that done a little bit later this afternoon, and we'll be able to help with your sit-start questions on the site on Wednesday and Thursday coming into lineup block. With that being said, Trashman, let's just get into it. As far as this week, I noticed that, look, I was surprised to see that guys like Tyjae Spears and Darrell Henderson are still available in a good number of leagues, especially considering the fact that, we're not going to see Kyron Williams back until what was it? Was it because they have their bye around there? Was it week 12?
Week 10?
No, it was like week 11 or week 12. There's still going to be a couple weeks here left of Darrell Henderson. And I know it wasn't a monster game this last week. It wasn't quite as good as the first week, but he did get 3 targets, 15 total touches, 85 yards. Good for, just a straight up 10-point game and half-point PPR. That can be helpful, right? As your running back 3 kind of flex option. He's still there and he's playing, he's basically playing right now half the snaps. Royce Freeman technically was a greater snap participant than he was, and very infuriatingly got in for the touchdown last week. That seems like it's sort of been the Darrell Henderson territory. With that being said, they hate Zach Evans. They have no idea what they have in Myles Gaskin as far as the Rams. Now it's a situation where Stafford looks like he could be banged up. The whole quarterback thing is just they're calling around about quarterbacks today. Maybe by the time you hear this, they might have done something or gotten something. But right now it's looking like a Brett Rippon, Stetson Bennett type of situation if Stafford is unable to go. And it's, man, this whole quarterback contract. Can you believe what happened now with the Kirk Cousins thing, what this means for Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and just everybody.
Hey, they just picked up Josh Dobbs.
It's just Dobbs stinks.
But he can sling it.
Yeah, this is no good. Yeah, I mean
Marquise Brown has had a pretty decent year.
If he's had a decent year, if you look at the expected fantasy points, I get duped into playing him in DFS almost every week just because all the numbers look great, the targets.
He's done great for me in PPR.
What define great?
I mean, he's averaged about 15 fantasy points per game in PPR leagues?
Okay, so last week, Marquise Brown had 9 targets, but he got a total of 33 total yards on 6 catches, and he got in for the touchdown. Okay, that was last week. The week before it, so he got by on a touchdown this last week. The week before that, he had 7 targets. He got for 3 catches and 49 total yards. Week 6, he had 11 targets and 4 catches for 34 scoreless yards. He hasn't been a lifesaver. He just hasn't been. He's had some good games, but he's fallen off and been disappointing. The whole Arizona offense has, man.
Those last 3 games. But previous to that, he was averaging about 14 fantasy points per game.
Can Kendra Miller be dropped? It says the Hunsburglar. I know we love him, but he seems buried. We'll answer that in the drop section. I already have him on the list. Unfortunately, we're at a point where if you need a win this week, I think, I hate to say it, but at this point, probably. Let's see. Daniel Schaffer saying, I'd love to have Dobbs on my roster. Current starter is Jordan Love. Well, that can make you feel a little bit rough. Matt Cassidy, so good to see you, my friend. Again, if you guys have questions, just drop them in the chat. We're gonna try and get through this. Basically, here's the thing. If Tyjae Spears is still available and out there on your waiver wire, he would be my priority to pick up this week, even with Derrick Henry still in there and still just dominating. And, he had over 100 yards last week. He had, or was it over 100? It was something. Yeah, it was something pretty good. And that was against a really stout Tennessee Titans, or I'm sorry, that was against a Atlanta Falcons team that hadn't been, the defense hasn't been incredibly bad this year. I can understand what they've been doing on offense, but not an. Oh, is this true? Philly Mike OG. Let me just check this real quick, because I don't want to get duped and have it live on the podcast.
Plus Henry might not be on the team by the end of the day.
Okay. So right as we got on the show, Chase Young is going to the 49ers. Oh gosh. Oh man.
Glad I have their defense.
Oh man. Trashman says get him out of the NFC East. That's fine with you. Not that he's been the complete killer, but I mean, don't you just know that he's going to go to San Francisco and get completely unlocked? That is crazy for a third, huh? My God. Okay. Breaking news. So thanks to the chat for that. Chase Young, a new member of the San Francisco 49ers. Wow. Okay. The all Ohio State edge.
They don't like that 2-game slide.
Yeah. Okay. No, it's now.
Is it 3 now?
I think it's 3. I'd have to go. You know us, Trash Man. We focus more on players than we do where these teams are in their standings and stuff. But I think they've lost 3 in a row. I think it might be 3. Okay. But yeah, Tyjae Spears. I don't think Derrick Henry's getting traded. I think now that with Will Levis looking the way that he looked last week, that they might just kind of want. This was Cody's take, and I kind of agree. I think that they might just kind of want to see what they have in him now with the players around him. They're getting Treylon Burks back healthy. Doesn't seem like anything's going to happen with DeAndre Hopkins. So I kind of think that, why not keep him around, sort of see what he's like with some key pieces around him. Who knows? It's Vrabel though, and he could just go right back to Tanny the minute he gets.
It might be one of those things where a quarterback goes off their first, 1-2 games, and then teams figure him out.
Oh, you can't. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. He looked. He unlocked DeAndre Hopkins. He looked really good. There was his best pass was the one to Nick Westbrook-Akine.
He did look good, but we also have seen tape on Will Levis, and this is not the Will Levis that most people are expecting. So I don't know. Maybe he turns back into a pumpkin. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just look, man. The fact of the matter is that Tyjae Spears is already playing like 40% of snaps already. And they like it. It keeps keeping a little bit of the tread off of Derrick Henry's tires. They're not having to use him in weird, wacky ways that they don't want to. And he remains probably the most. Is he the? I don't know if he's the most valuable backup. Just depending, the kind of most valuable handcuff. Just sort of, if you think about skill and the way that offense runs and the things that he can do, I think that Tyjae Spears is a guy, like we said, you're probably not spending way up right now, but he's been on the waiver wire cheat sheet this whole time, and there will be a week where you're going to be glad that you have him. So if you have the room, make sure and pick up Tyjae Spears in that same sort of category there with the running backs in that sort of tier. Zach Charbonnet, I think, belongs there. Trashman, I'm getting a little bit of a signal thing, so let me know if I cut out or anything like that. Okay. I'm sure the chat will let us know. I didn't reset the internet before I started, as usual. Zach Charbonnet, at this point, I think needs to be picked up. Right. If he's out there, he could possibly be owned in your league. But while he was hurt for a while there, it seemed like he got dropped in a lot of spots. I mean, he played 60% of the snaps this last week, and there've been rumors that Kenneth Walker could be playing a little bit banged up and a little bit hurt. There's the narrative floating around out there that I've seen from other analysts in the fantasy space saying now is the time. Now that Seattle's out of their bye, this is the time. Like, they didn't spend a second round pick on Zach Charbonnet to not have some kind of committee here. You know, this could be a nice committee moving forward with these two guys. I don't have the match.
Speaking of, I think Cam Akers might deserve to be in that upper echelon.
Well, you didn't have him in there, so I mean,
I had him higher.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have him higher. I didn't.
Well, you put some of those dudes up into that higher tier, though.
Okay, well, if you want to, how about this? After the show, why don't you edit that thing and put Cam Akers up there? Because I kind of agree. So edit it, put Cam Akers up there, and just resend it to our web guy. All right.
You mean Bruce?
Well, I didn't want to out him, and I didn't want to say his name. You know, Bruce likes being a silent partner, but now his name's out there. Our fourth partner at Roster Watch is named Bruce. All right, the one thing he never wants us to talk about. All right, but anyway. All right, but Leonard Fournette, I think, just belongs up there because we've seen, you know, it looks like he passed his physical with Buffalo. They want somebody to be a better complement to James Cook, and they're ready to make a run.
They might want somebody to be better than James Cook.
Yeah, I don't know. With Fournette, you never know. The fact that he can catch so well, the fact that people trust him in protection so much, he's a player that should be picked up right now, especially for running back needy teams. If for nothing else, just to stash old, you can call him Fat Lenny, whatever you want to do, Lombardi Lenny, Super Bowl Lenny, whatever you want to call him. He should be picked up and stashed. You never know what's going to be happening on a high powered offense, right? So he's in that tier as well. Trashman made the point about Cam Akers. I certainly agree. I mean, we've been getting questions since last week about whether or not Alexander Madison can be even dropped. People are already worried about that. So anything else at running back that you wanted to hit on here? I think Tyjae Spears, Darrell Henderson, Zach Charbonnet, Leonard Fournette, Roschon if he's out there, but I'm starting to cool a little bit on. It's just like, I mean, Khalil Herbert's about to be back, and this thing is devolved into a complete committee. And
I mean, Darrington Evans is even getting significant.
It just hurts, man. It just it really hurts. The Hunsberger is asking London Lenny, London Lenny for Kendre. At this point, man, if I had them both, if I wanted to get them both, and I'm on a short bench, Jamal Williams is back. Alvin Kamara is just the usage king right now. It's going to be, Kendre Miller is still awesome for Dynasty. I worry a little bit about the run out that might occur down the stretch here as far as redraft. I'm not saying that I'm dying to drop Kendre. It would be like, it's like saying. It's like asking me if I want to go drop my puppy off at the pound or something. It would be a completely, incredibly heartbreaking thing to do. But, he's...
Well, they're not going to put Kendre Miller to sleep.
we have... I could just drive into Austin, Trashman, where all the pounds are all, like, sponsored by the city and complete no-kill. And, they have all the kids come in there and work with them, and everyone's a big happy family. So I'm talking about that kind of pound for old Kendre, man. Come on, I would never take him to the bad one. All right. So anything else at running back? I mean, Amari DeMarcado's still out there in a lot of leagues. He should probably be picked up.
I think Pierre Strong might have some juice.
He was okay, right? He was okay this last week. I wouldn't make it a giant. I wouldn't make it a giant priority to go pick him up, but you could definitely do it. I think at wide receiver, whenever we got the news that Kendrick Bourne is going to be, Kendrick Bourne is now out for the season. Man, I've really liked. I don't know if. The stats probably. Speaking of pound, Trash man, tell that.
I don't know what's wrong with. He never barks. I don't know what's going on with him.
I think you heard the stuff about the pound. Demario Douglas, 7 targets in week 8. Only 29 total yards, 6 targets in week 7. against the Buffalo Bills, where he went for 74 yards. So he's a guy who's been getting it done, at least in the target department, ever since he kind of came back into the fold. And now with Kendrick Bourne out, he's basically been the number 2 wide receiver there. We still don't know about Juju Smith-Schuster. And I wanted to mention that for this week, New England does face the Washington football team, which on the RosterWatch matchup tool is the number 1 matchup for opposing wide receivers. We saw last week AJ Brown, and we saw AJ Brown do this twice. We know what opposing number 1 wide receivers have done to the Washington football team. So Demario Douglas, not a prototypical number 1 wide receiver, but these little guys, in New England, sometimes they get him involved. And Douglas is a guy from I think Byron had him at the Shrine Bowl. He had him written up from the Shrine Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. And, somebody that we actually had a good scouting grade on. So Demario Douglas would be there for me. Also, Jahan Dotson is available in 53% of leagues right now. So I think that's probably, you know what I mean? That's probably somebody you could want to go out and get. We're seeing little signs of life out of him. Now, it was a good matchup last week as far as what the matchup tool says. But he's a first round wide receiver, right?
Who I forgot to add there maybe at the bottom was Jamison Crowder.
Well, you can add. Who cares about Crowder? Nobody wants Crowder. He had
a pretty good. I mean, if Samuel's out, then Crowder makes for potential decent PPR play.
Okay. Well, like I said, add him on whenever you add on Cam Akers to that top line and just get it sent into who. But Jahan Dotson last 2 weeks, averaging nine targets per game. He should definitely be, he should be picked up if he's available in your league. He's probably not available in your league if you're watching this, but if he is, I would make arrangements there. And I think Tank Dell, he's out there in a bunch of he's out there in a bunch of leagues, only 42% rostered. A bust of a week last week, but that whole game went
whole game
went so sideways that I'm willing to kind of write it off and think CJ Stroud bounces back. It was a down game for Nico Collins. People are asking us if they can drop all these guys. They're on the list. Let's see. So a couple questions here. Harry Snowman, so good to see you, my friend. Delta, should I send D-Hop and Addison for Devontae Adams? Absolutely. Yes.
You think so?
Oh gosh, yes. No, yes, just do it. Just ship them. In a 2-keeper league, is it safe to drop Jameson Williams 11th round? Need a QB defense, serviceable quarterbacks out there? Yes, it is safe to drop Jameson Williams. Guys, I'm 2-6, need help. Stroud, Pollard, Stevenson, Kupp, McLaurin, Hawkinson, Addison, Seahawks, bench, Kirk, Timo, Roshan, Kyron, Dill, Kyler, Shaheed, Demarcado. What do I do? What do you want? I don't know who. You probably need to shake up your roster a little bit, man. Listen to the trade cast on Wednesday. Okay, listen to the trade cast.
You should probably be playing Christian Kirk most weeks.
Yeah, wouldn't help you too much last week.
Well,
yeah,
the first one in a while. But he's the number 1 receiver for the Jaguars.
Just traded away Pittman and Mostert for CD. Win or loss, I think it's fine. You got the best player in the trade. Okay.
And it looks like Downs might soon be the de facto number 1 receiver in Indianapolis anyway.
Yeah, but it's like I can't believe you got that deal done for CD after the week that he just had. So those are the 3 that I would kind of focus on right here at the very top. I know that there's a bunch of the Rashid Shaheed talk, all the stuff like that. Any other of these wide receivers that you want to focus on, Trashman?
Jaden Reed has been coming up in Green Bay. I think scored the last 2 weeks. Brandon Cooks has scored the last 2 weeks for Dallas. I think both of those guys you could potentially get in this week. Those are the main ones.
Okay, we told you about Trey McBride at tight end last week. He's going to be
Rashid Shaheed,
It's
his
just
target share
is
so low, but
he's going to be boom or bust every single
off.
time. It's like if you play enough DFS, you know the story with Rashid Shaheed on Prize Picks and on DraftKings. It's just you're taking it's like either he's going to pay off big or he's just going to swindle you. That's just how it goes. I feel like I talked about him on the Blitz show that we have up on Roto Grinders and on Roster Watch this week as a guy who I liked this last week, but I've talked about him in other games before where he just hasn't shown up. So,
yeah. Russ, I'd say like get Stevenson off your team, trade him and Kirk for somebody. Like get a better running back. You need a better starting running back.
Yeah. If you can get rid of, I'm always a proponent of packaging up Stevenson with basically anybody else, right? Just package him up and see if you can upgrade, make a consolidation trade, and free up some bench space to pick up some of these kind of flyer guys that we're talking about. Trey McBride had 14 targets this last week. The genie's out of the bottle. He's going to be a lot more expensive. We told you to go get him last week if you were in a tough spot at tight end. But there's no other real priorities at the tight end, at least for me, Trashman.
He's got arguably the worst matchup for a tight end in the league this week, but I mean, he's that good.
It is the worst on the matchup tool, actually, Trashman. I can't believe that you actually knew that. Oh gosh, Minion Hunter's asking if you should trade Shaheed now. If you can target down, if you can get Josh Downs for Rashid Shaheed, my goodness, yes. Is Jerome Ford droppable on a 10-team league? I will add him to the list here. Before we get to that list, Trashman, anything else at tight end that you'd like to discuss?
Connor Hayward's a new addition with Pat Freiermuth out. He's actually getting some targets there in Pittsburgh. I think especially if Mitch Trubisky's going to be under center, which I'm not sure if Pickett's going to play this week, but if he's not, I think Connor Hayward might be a decent streamer. He might be one anyways, with Freiermuth out. And Taysom Hill, we haven't really talked about him much at the tight end position, but they're using him as their backup running back. They're using him over Jamal Williams.
No, I mean, he's basically like he's also their backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he could throw for a touchdown. He could play tight end. He could, you know what I'm saying? He could play tight end. They line him up at tight end. He's out there catching. He's getting targets, and he's good. And every time they get in that wildcat, you know he's never handing it off to Kamara. You know what I mean? He's just never doing it. Taysom's always holding it for himself. Derek's asking with the Dobbs news, who are you willing to give up for JJ now? Assuming you're a lock for the playoffs, my wide receivers are Lamb, Olave, Hollywood, McLaurin, KJ. So KJ, I guess Osborne, Palmer, running backs are Eckler, Kamara, Mostert. Yeah, I mean, I'd see if I could package up Mostert and Hollywood for Justin Jefferson or something like that. Just tell the guys, just say I'm willing to. Just tell them that I'm willing to. I
might go as far as McLaurin, Mostert.
Yeah, something like that. Eckler Kamara feels good, huh? I somehow managed to lose with an Eckler Kamara team this week. Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's always the worst when you go up against, you get the second most points in the league. You go up against the team with the most points. It just hurts, man.
Fantasy hurts.
Fantasy hurts, man. If it didn't hurt, we wouldn't love these wins so much. Okay. All right, Trash Man. Can you drop them? You ready?
Yeah.
This is part of that everybody always waits for. Oh, Cody said,
oh, yeah.
Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Lions. So, yeah, dude, that drop. You can't even call it a drop for Jameson Williams last night. He put his hands out like this, and the ball hit him up on the inside of his elbow. You're just like, what is this guy even doing? Okay. All right. Can you drop him? Roschon Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Luke Musgrave.
Real. Honestly, you could drop most tight ends in the pinch. I don't have any loyalty.
Latavius Murray.
Yes, absolutely.
Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, I dropped him off of this list.
Pierre Strong.
You might want to use Strong this week.
Jamison Williams.
Yeah.
What the hell did I write here? Well, I'm sorry. This person won't get their question answered. I have no idea what this. Oh, Singletary.
Devin Singletary.
Yeah.
You can drop him. I mean, that running game's so bad either way.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah.
Kendre.
Yeah.
Dog pound.
Do the dog pound.
No kill shelter.
No kill.
Dalton Schultz.
I'm hanging on to Schultz. I think it was just a bad game for all the Texans.
Let's get to this question. Should I trade Rachaad White and Hollywood Brown for Devontae Adams and James Conner in 0.75 PPR? Yes.
Yes.
I don't even need to read the rest of that thing. Unless it said something like unless the rest of the question said this is a league where there's an extra value placed on bad players. Okay. Deontay Foreman.
No.
Idea of buying low on Devontae Adams. Thoughts? Try to. Miles Sanders.
Yes.
AJ Dillon.
Yeah.
Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
Tank Dell.
No.
Jerome Ford.
No.
What about in a 10 team?
In a 10 team, yeah.
Same question as last week, Trash Man. You said obviously no. Alexander Madison.
No.
But it's not as obvious.
It's not as obvious, but I mean they're gonna go run heavy at this point. They have to.